Hello and welcome to this new episode of the Picture Up Show. This is a show where we meet with content creators. We talk about the business of content creation and everything that goes on behind the lens. Today with me I have Dr. Zanele and Marcus and Ulenni. Ladies first. So tell us, who's Dr. Zanele, what are you about, and where can we find you?
Thank you so much. So Dr. Zanele is a dentist. She is a content creator. I have a YouTube channel, which currently has 3,100 and something subscribers. I'm on Instagram. I love interacting with my followers on Instagram with about 7,000 followers. Twitter. A violent space, but an exciting one. I'm also on Twitter and I'm also on Facebook. So I love doing content creation. It's just my thing. It's my creative outlet. I am also a makeup artist, self-taught makeup artist. And I am a mom. Now that is a job. Yeah, that's me.
Okay. And Marcus and Ulenni?
You wanna go?
Okay, cool. Saribonani, Moroi Makadi. My name is Marcus. I go by the name Energy Doctor, and we are in the building. Grateful to be here, first and foremost. Co-founder for Calligraph, founder for curator. Really a fabric expression, really, that I'm actually journeying on. It's gonna drop later in probably this year or next year. As his name, multi-disciplinary creator in so many more ways. Set designer, stylist, a lover of everything creative and the creative arts and the visual art scene, and just a huge fan as well of everybody that's doing amazing work within the creative space, and just to all of the creatives in Zim that are doing amazing and just each and every day keep showing up in all of those spaces. Like, yo, guys, we celebrate you. Seltanda Lonke. Also a partner within the Scare and Strobe Fabric Party. The only fabric party that actually made us in the country right now as far as fashion is concerned. I speak this for facts because the numbers don't lie. And yeah, I mean, like, I can keep on saying, and then, Ulenni as well will just share a little bit more. Nyasha is not around, but hey, I am here, so clearly we are around.
So my name is Ulenni Okandlovu. I'm a multifaceted artist. I'm the founder of Scan Strobe, that creates content, and it also curates the fabric party. So I'm a culture curator and a content creator and a journalist. I studied journalism, and that's my angle of content creation that led to building up all this. And yeah, that's what I do pretty much. And I'm design clothes and I make music. I have a band called Band Space. It's an alternative music band. So yeah, pretty much that's what I do. With other things that I might have forgot, but maybe we'll talk about them as we go. Yeah.
So today we're talking about growing your audience. And one thing that I like about all of you is we all have an audience we're trying to reach. There's an enterprise or a product or a solution we're trying to get to clients, And I'll start with you, Marcus.
Yeah.
You said that the fabric party is the only fabric party that matters, and the numbers don't lie. Tell us about the numbers and why the numbers matter.
All right. I think as much as you shot this question to me, I'll also bounce it as well back to Ulenni as well. Yeah. However, I'll begin and say what numbers really do is numbers really give an understanding of growth.
Yeah.
and what growth looks like and where growth is actually going, which direction. Either way, positive or negative, right? So if the numbers are growing in a positive direction, which means there is a whole lot of people that are engaged, right, with the space, one. And second, there are a whole lot of people that are also supporters of the space. There are also people that feel that the space is actually home, right? And every space, be it whatever that we do, and if people, they feel that it's a welcoming energy, it's a home energy, it's where if I show up, I am not judged, right? It's a space where if I show up, like everybody celebrates you for your unique creative abilities of some sort, right? So it then just, it adds on.
Yeah.
And Ulenni, I mean, you can share the numbers, bro.
Yeah, like looking at in terms of what you're talking, when you say numbers don't lie, like it's crazy. When somebody who's looking from outside, they might see that maybe the page itself has around less than 3,000 people, but it's the only space. But if you're in content creation or if you're in curation, if you're curating an event, you can understand like the importance of having a real audience that is really engaged and is really right in terms of if you had to call for an event, there's really people show up. For instance, I think that's the only event that doesn't have popular or mainstream acts that pre-sells the tickets. Maybe so you pre-sell 300 tickets without putting a flyer act like somebody who's perform, maybe a popular act where like cool, or have maybe surprise music, or just put music as an element, but we have these things that we're doing. So there is no popular act, there is no foreign act, there is no mainstream act. It's just a culture that exists. It's a community that was built, and you are able to say that and pre-sell tickets, about 300 tickets, without having a flyer or an act. I don't know how to call it, without having a main act that is, or without. If we are to compare the numbers, for instance, the events that are around, I don't want to mention names, but it's like they have maybe around 10 or 8 or 5 local acts with a foreign act to boost the numbers. So if we calculate the ratio by if those events are able to do an event without an international act or without a main act, in terms of numbers, our numbers are still good because we can pre-sell to a local audience that is still on the come up. So I think on the numbers context, that's the context. We don't have maybe 10,000 followers or stuff, but it's really audience that is real that it can have right there. If you call out for something tomorrow, they can show up, and so I think that's the context of numbers and stuff. Yeah. So.
And for you, Doctor.
Numbers. Well, for me, I've never been one who's too focused on numbers. Because like what he's saying, you can have 3,000 followers and then you post something, and if you have 3,000 followers and you're gonna have 1,000 people liking that post, trust me, you have a following. That's
those are
a
numbers.
True following. I was looking at about a celebrity in America, the most followed person in America. I've forgotten who exactly it is, but you find that it's less than 1% of our followers who will like her post. Less than 1%. So you can't measure that according to how many followers does this person have, but it's more about how relatable are you. Are people engaging with your content? So that's when numbers really matter.
True. I know sometimes when you're speaking to corporates and you're trying to get people to engage with you, one of the things they'll speak about is the numbers. But then also the other question is what you're saying. I can have the 10,000, but are they engaging with my content?
Exactly.
True.
Are they engaging? And on that note, just a question, and I'll start with you, Dr. Zanele. Like, can't I just buy the numbers? Can't I just, because I know there are lots of, we've received, as creators, I'm sure we've all received an inbox from someone saying, hey, I can take you to 10K or 100K, Why not take them up on their offer?
Because it doesn't work.
Okay.
I know people who had bots which were generating these followers, and they quit. They stopped because they realize they're never going to win. That's why you find people complaining so much about the algorithm and all of that. But really, it's because of that. If you use a bot to just buy followers, they're not going to engage with your content. Your content is not going to go anywhere. And that's one of the reasons why the algorithm is there anyway, to just block off those things. So you better not.
And then from you guys, what are your thoughts on it?
Now, I think it depends with what you're selling and who you're selling it to. And now I think there was a period where I think it worked for a lot of people, where people were like, this person is this amount of this number, has these numbers. Then I think that phase has passed. Even the businesses or the corporates now understand the importance of engagement, like what we were talking about. Whereby at first it was okay, like to have thousands and thousands of people, but now people are back to look into engagement. Like where you look at the most of the people who are doing the work, like even if you look around, these people maybe have 500 followers on Instagram, but in terms of the work that they really do, it really matters. Then versus the people with a lot of numbers, some are not even doing the work and there's no engagement and it doesn't really work much. But I think it depends with what you're selling and who you're selling it to.
And you, Mark?
I'll circle back to organic following, right? Where people really, where somebody really is actually engaged in your content because of the value that it gives, right? So bots and everything, these are, if they need to like, and it's crazy because you put a certain content and then somebody will be like, super, great, like it, love it. And
it's not related.
It's not relatable, right? Even if somebody asks you to endorse their brand or to be a brand ambassador, and if they're getting all of that, how then do they know how many people are tuned in and they're not getting feedback, whether their product is good, whether their product is not great or anything. But even just that, let's put away brand ambassadorship along. If you're we're in a space right now or in a generation right now where community or where as I would look at it from an advertising point of view, is like community is what now gives value to a brand, right? As an individual, you're a brand. Why people subscribe to you is probably of the value that you're giving to them. So that community really is tuned in or likes or shares your content or supports you in so many different ways from a digital space. However, if you also do something on a physical space, that community still shows up. And when that community shows up, if you've got 1,000 people and you was probably an event of some sort, right? And then 300 people come through, that's 30%. But if you've got 10,000 people and then 100 people come through, the numbers are not adding. The numbers are not numbering, you know. So it's always important, really, just as well to look at the heart of things from a community and an organic point of view, to be like, oh, cool. How am I grow? How is the brand going to grow? What's the value that we're going to give to the brand? But more importantly, what's our story that we are telling? How can people be engaged in it? But how can people be tuned in it? How relatable is it? Because some of the other things is just like, it's just it's just a lot, guys. It's just a lot. But let's go.
We still need the numbers.
But we still need the numbers.
If they're not real, then we don't. If they're not real, it's wasting time. But if they are real, you need like huge numbers.
Then we job you have 10,000 people that follow you, and they are real. And if you can say to anyone, be like, guys, how are you? So we are looking for somebody who can be a lighting technician for this thing that we are hosting. They'll be like, okay, cool. People want to be the lighting technician. They're like, actually, there is who. So now the very same social media can be used as a space of accessing business, but also
I guess that's
exchanging.
the importance of building the community, like you say.
True.
And then for you, Doctor, when we talk about building the audience organically, would you say the content, is it more about the content or frequency of posting? Is it posting every day, 10 reels a day, or maybe it's about the quality, the content of the content, right?
It's both. I mean, you cannot disappear on your audience. They can be unforgiving. Some of them, they will unfollow. If they don't see you for a month, they are unfollowing.
Yeah.
So you just have to drop in something.
Yeah.
For myself, I know when I'm just not in it, I just know that at least I have to post on my Instagram stories so that people know I'm alive, I'm still here, and I'm engaging with them and just having normal chats with my followers. So if you completely disappear, your followers will also start to disappear, and that's just how it is. Yeah. But also your content has to be top tier, because if you're now just dishing out rubbish, people will also unfollow. They'll be like, she's lost us here, and then they will just disappear.
So like in terms of, give us an example. I know the other day you posted that you'd attended a live show, you know, and I thought your post was very interesting, you know. So how do you determine that, okay, this is rubbish, this is not rubbish?
Well, because I know that when people hear the word doctor, they're just thinking that lab coat, someone who's so serious about her work. So I wanted to post that I was a job raisers show, but I wanted a way to do it. So something to make it funny, to say, if you saw me there last night, that wasn't me. That wasn't me. And then I'm just making it funny because I wanted to relate to the kind of content that I create. Because I create content around dentistry, around lifestyle, around family. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, and I'm going to a show. So, I was just, mixing all those things together and just trying to engage with my followers like they're my friends. Yeah.
And then for you guys, what do you think about quality over quantity? Or is it like a mix?
Now, I think so. I'm on a curator, but our main page is 3 pages for our band, for the fabric party, for the other page with the designs, and the other page with the scan strobe that does visual art contents, the journalism side of things. So each and every page is on where I create stuff. So for instance, with the fabric party page, it's less. We don't post much. We don't follow. Only follows the scan strobe page and follows calligraph. Only follows 2 because the reason I did that was trying to avoid to have a timeline filled with everything. Also trying to make sure that whoever is following, they're following because they want to, not because they're doing a favor as a follow back. So also helps in terms of that. So on that page specifically, we don't post much. We only post when it's time to post. Maybe if we have an event, or so it's more like an information space whereby if anybody sees a post there, they know it means something to look into. So that's the way you post on that. Then it's more of an update page, less of a social page where people come in and have fun. That's why we're not even doing a WhatsApp group or a community. Guys, we don't do that. So backing that up is backed by live activations, because our strength is more on something that was built first on the ground, then it has go to social media, not the other way around, where you built it on social media, then went to the ground. So even without posting this, there were a lot of activations happening that feed to that page. Then those who come across the activations, the physical activations, or word of mouth, they're the ones who go to the page. It's not the other way around. So it's something like that. So that's why we don't post much, but it's still each and every day you get new people coming in DMs, and so you're always responding to that posting list. So
I'll say strategy really. My personal page is really fun. It's really about fashion. It's also about the work that I do, right? Because I want to bring about it's a lifestyle page, but through the lifestyle you can get to experience my work and the excited nature of who I am as the energy talked about the work that we are doing, the space that we are in. This is the Marcus ZW doing all of that, right? Calligraph is a creative art direction and a mural. We're a public art collective, really, pretty much working within the public space, really. So all of the board of the work that we get to do and we showcase that work, right? Because our work, part of our strength is collaborations. So if somebody sees our work, we are in short, all that we're saying is it's also an invite. How do we work together? Probably as a client, how do we collaborate together? Probably it's something that you're passionate about, and also figuring out how can we also be part and parcel, and how can our voices will amplify, or how can we storytell what you want to storytell, right? So, and then beyond that, then with Ikata right now, we're just, we are learning our journey as we go, appreciating everybody who's journeying with us, right? Because we are not really putting it in terms of this is going to be this way, this is going to be this way, but probably it'll be predominantly having the colors black and white, because that's the signature space of how it's going to look and everything. So it's really strategy. It can't be one size fits all. It's many sizes, many spaces, walk here, walk there, walk there, walk there. And just as Ulenni said, like, you also get to curate a whole lot of many pages, right? From Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, so you then just you understand what ticks. But sometimes, especially with your personal page, it's what you feel at the moment, right? For me, every day when I wake up in the morning, it's always a beautiful day. But of late, it's a beautiful elevated day. Okay. So I just want somebody who's just getting to experience that, understand that it's actually a beautiful elevated day. How does it look like? Probably it's how I'm looking like. It's what I'm sharing on the day. It's just reminding you that, you know what, you are alive today. God did, so let's move. So
And then on the point of strategy, Doc, how can one come up with a strategy, like, to grow your audience? Are there things that maybe you've observed with your audiences across the different platforms, and is it different across the different platforms? What can I do to grow my audience?
Yeah, I think it's really important to study your different platforms and then study your audience on those different platforms, because you find the content that I post on my different platforms is actually quite different. For my Facebook platform, I just talk about dentistry or anything inspirational career-wise, because I also do speaking. I speak at events. I also do moderating for events. So whenever I'm doing something like that, I also put it on my Facebook. So I know, and the people on my Facebook page are really looking for oral health education. They're mainly focused on that.
I guess when they go there, they know what they're getting.
Yes, they know that when you go on Dr. Zanele's channel, she's on her Facebook page, she's going to teach you about how to take care of your teeth. You can ask her anything to do with oral health, and she's going to answer. And then if you go on my Twitter page, it's more or less the same. On my Twitter page, and it just happened with a viral thread that I did. And I just woke up one day and I was like, hi, I'm tired of these people asking me about bed breath. Really, let me just tell them everything. And I just typed out everything. And then I just posted it. And that
just
thread, it just blew up. First in Zim, it had two waves of blowing up. First in Zim, and then I started engaging a South African dentist on Twitter. Came across my thread, and he posted it as well. And then it became viral in South Africa as well. So it was just really interesting that it's a popular topic. So so on Twitter now, I usually go there, I'm talking, I can just hint on oral health, but most times people are tagging me on questions. Someone will have a question on oral health, and then I'm just going to answer the question. And then on my Instagram is more of the fun space, and that's the space that I'm always at. So you get a bit of everything about me. But you see, it's because I've studied my audience. I know when I want them to know something important, I know how to take it out there. And I know there are times when I feel like, I think people are forgetting I'm a dentist. And then I'll talk more about my work, when I feel like maybe people need to know just how good of a dentist I am. I'll find a way to sneak it in and, talk about, I saw this patient, I fixed his smile. He was so happy. So then he gave me this. Now it's like I'm just talking about a story, but what I've done is I've reminded you that, by the way, I'm a pretty good dentist. So, and then my YouTube channel. YouTube is a lot of work, guys. It's a lot of work. That's why I'm so proud of my 3,000 subscribers, and I absolutely love each and every one of them.
How long did it take you to get to 3,000?
I started doing YouTube seriously in 2017.
Okay.
And I I'm here now.
Yeah.
I only got to 1,000 subscribers I was married then, so that's 2019. That's when I got to 1,000 subscribers. And the one thing that blew up my channel was our wedding video.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I realized people just like, love stories, and they like those stories about a young girl growing up, getting into a family, then having a kid and all of that. And then you're also talking about your career, your challenges, whatever you face in life.
Yeah.
So I found that that's what they relate to.
Yeah.
Because I used to do makeup videos. Forget. They are not really into that. But I still like it. So what do? I would do a lifestyle vlog and I'll just film myself doing my makeup. I'm still doing something that I like.
Yes.
And you find that, you see, even if you want to grab in those makeup brands, they'll just say, okay, just put it in your vlog because someone's going to see it and say, oh, Dr. Zane uses this foundation. And then they'll just, go and buy it.
Without really even mentioning it.
And then the last one, which one did I say? Oh, TikTok. Oh, TikTok is the easiest. I find TikTok to be easy because with TikTok is so forgiving. Like I can just whip up my phone and just move my camera and and I'd just be like, I was at Beach House today. It was nice. And that's it.
Full stop.
Next thing, people commenting and liking. So just know your platforms and what they want to see, and that's what you give them.
So what's interesting with the Fabric Party is there's a lot of user-generated content. And by that I mean when you guys host an event, you get people with their phones, and sometimes people have got different following. Someone is like got a huge circle of friends and was very popular. They're taking pictures, they're tagging you.
Maybe after an event you spend maybe almost a month. Like even today you go on the page, somebody's still posting about doing a post about the event. So I think that itself, it allowed. So in fact, what makes that even possible is at the Fabric Party we invite maybe about 10 photographers. Then have maybe 4 that are in-house. So every photographer, when they're done with the event, we have maybe 10 photographers with pictures. Maybe each has a Google Drive link with around 600 pictures. Then we make sure, like from the first day, we send all the content to everybody, attended, because the community maybe have around 600 people come through. Now those 600 people, they have 10 Google Drive links with 600, 800 pictures each. So throughout the space between the events, people still have fresh content to post even every day on their pages. So when you check even the insights, you find out maybe every month, or like in terms of engagement, or people visit the page, you have around 2,000 people visit the page who are non-followers. Who are checking the page. So it's something like that.
That's quite big. Who are non-followers to just...
I check the insights, you have around 2,000 people. Like even if you open my phone on check, you just find about 2,000 people who are following, who are just checking, who visited the page, like if you check the insights. So throughout the time, so they are generated by...
So I guess you also kind of give direction in terms of one, quality, and two, like the content of the content, like the subject of the content, by providing your audience.
That content with high-res images, with proper shot. So it's like because it's first after the event, like during the event, on the day, it's just few people with... In fact, now people are cultured to that whereby they just know what to post on the day. They just do stories because everybody's waiting for the high-res content in the next 2 days or 24 hours. So nobody post low-quality images on their account, so they know that like for the past 7 editions, people wait for the proper
So
content.
is it something that you had to communicate to say, hey guys, wait, or it's organically?
It's the structure. It's the structure how you build. It's how you build. Because the first timers who were coming first, maybe first, second, or third editions, they'll be excited about what's happening, and they shoot with their phones. But they post that, then you just see people with time deleting the old post, keeping the high-res. Because the high-res images you'll be having top-tier photographers, they're much better. So it's something that grows on its becomes a culture. Because initially what we had agreed was we're just investing on creating content, like it's part of our budget every time we do an event. So I think it's something that some events never will look into, but like for us, we're investing on content, and the people are the ones who they're the ones who matter, so they have to get the highest quality of content and stuff. So so it allows you freedom not to post every day because other people post. So you just do stories, repost and stuff. Yeah.
And I'll just add on to that and say that. So also having probably 10 photographers in the space, right, and 4 photographers being in-house, it's just like it also allows, there are different photographers that you cannot access.
Yeah.
Because they've got an hourly rate. Yeah. But on the day, if that photographer is came through to shoot under the fabric party ban, or even somebody just came through and is shooting because they love how everything is happening, because the set is there, they're different, everything. There's the set designing that's done, there is the runway that's done, there is
their characters.
Most people that you see on social media now, you're actually accessing them and seeing them in real time. So just having all of that and being able to capture it, so somebody can just have a picture with all of the people that they've ever wanted to, the photographer that they've ever wanted for them to shoot them. But it's like you're accessing all of these amazing resources all at just one event. And the content that you get to create with all of that is just it's just worth your while. So even when you then just look at it, like the amount of money that you pay to come through at the event, and vis-a-vis the value that you actually get when you're in that space, it's just really so mind-blowing. So I mean, like, it's also we just look at what kind of value can we give, or can we share, or can we add into a space.
I would say it's something that I've noticed even in our business as well, is that sometimes you get, when you're doing a shoot, say someone's coming for a birthday shoot or whatever, they'll come with a sister or husband or whatever. They've got their phone as well, and that's content that they are posting to their audience, because they, depending on who it is, they've got their work circles, their professional circles, if they've got hobby circle, and everyone. So, and now you have access to
all
that
network,
that network as well. And I feel like it's one of the it's like an important pillar in in growing your audience, that user generated content. And then for you, Doc, I know I've seen some of the stories that you do, especially the new place where you worked. Like for me, I was like, wow, you can watch TV when it's something that you don't see every day. You don't. It's not a happy day when you're having to go and see the dentist.
We're very nice people.
Well, you at least.
Well, I can say definitely for me, it's people posting. And for me, even before where I'm currently working, you find that I had this thing that I did with my patients, who were also my followers. I only did it with the ones who were my followers, because the ones who are not my followers, they wouldn't understand it. But the ones who were my followers, because I would know, I'll check my diary, and then I would know that, this is my Instagram follower. So when they're coming into the room, I would take a video of them waltzing in. And then you'd find a follower saying, I also watch a video catwalking, And then now people would dress up when they're coming for their appointment. They're like, because we know Zanele is going to take a video of me. So, it was just something that I would do, which was fun. And my patients, who are also my followers and my friends, they liked it. And, then because they would then repost on their pages, then people would get curious about you, and then they'll start inquiring on your services and whatnot. So it's a pretty good way of doing it. And it's really organic, like what he said. And the thing about it is... nobody's going to come unless they know you're good. So most of them, they will first ask the person who was there, like, oh, so how is she? Is she any good? Or is it just social media, So definitely for us, without even the social media content creation aspect, it's word of mouth. That wins you. That's the biggest thing, word of mouth. And I think even if you're an influencer, just word of mouth. Even another
Yeah.
brand saying, we worked with this content creator,
Yeah.
she's good.
Yeah.
Just like that, you win people over. So, yeah.
True.
So you mentioned brands being referred to. Have you? What's the conversation like with brands? You know, do they come to you asking for you to grow their audience, or are they looking to tap into your existing following? Maybe they've got dental related products. You know, what's that conversation like?
Yeah, well, I've only done one
Yeah.
brand that was solely an oral health company, and it's a colleague's company.
Yeah.
So he just came up to me. He's like, "You do a lot of videos, so can you like create content? Pay me, of course."
Yeah.
Thank God, I didn't have to have that awkward conversation with him. And yeah, so we did that, and that was fun.
Yeah.
And he already knew the value that I bring, and my following. And then most of the people who have come to me after that, they're people who sort of, they just like my vibe, and they feel that I would fit with their brand and what. So for them, it's more of because most of the brands that I've worked with are more of almost like kind of something like this, that it's not content that I have to put on my page.
Okay.
It's content that would be put on
Other people's page.
on
Yeah,
their
yeah,
page,
yeah,
and they're
yeah.
saying, so this person, and then
Yeah.
they direct people to my page, even if they don't have as many followers or whatever. It's just because they feel I'm a good match.
Yeah.
And that's me and brands. That's how I've been doing it, because I feel it's better that way. If you feel I'm a good fit, then
Then we will.
yeah. There is a brand that I did approach one time. That brand. So they're a clothing brand, and they do a lot of plus size dressing, right? And at the time, I didn't even have 3,000 followers. I think I had like 1,000 followers. And the requirement was this influencer must have 3,000 followers. And I wrote like a really long message, and I was like, listen, I don't have 3,000 followers, but I can tell you that almost all my followers, they engage with what I post. So then she was like, well, yeah, but the requirement is 3,000 followers. And I was like, okay, cool. And then in less than a year, I had about 4,000 followers. And then she approached me. Now she's saying, oh, like, could you come and, model in a few outfits? And I was like, so actually, I charge for that. So here's my red card. Because I feel like you didn't, I saw that I'm a good fit for your brand. You didn't see it. You didn't see it, but I could see it. Now you see it. Unfortunately, you gotta pay now.
That's very interesting.
I'm sure they were just seeing the numbers, not the fact.
Exactly, they were just seeing the numbers, not the value.
But how now can we get brands to see that aspect that's not represented in the numbers? Because we mentioned that you can buy the followers but not have the engagement. How do you then begin to have conversations with corporates where you get to see them, to show them the value of what you bring to the table that may not necessarily be linked to the numbers?
Now I think it's also sticking into the work, whereby, like, even on our end, like, I doubt if it was ever about getting lots of numbers. It was forever about getting the work done, and then the numbers just come that resonates with that work. For instance, maybe with the music, there was a time where, like, you worried that your music is not getting a certain number of views on YouTube, or because already maybe the radio is not playing that kind of music. So it was also the space where you learn that what you're creating might not be what they're looking for. So you have to look for what you're looking for in terms of building your own niche, or directing your work or your energy to certain space or certain places that you want to take your work to. So it was, first maybe I was just asking yourself, why my video doesn't have these views or million views. Like I think my biggest video has around 3,000 views on YouTube, which is a less number, but the amount of work that you were putting in, or the platforms that put your work on, are even better. And like you compare maybe, for instance, a gig that you get and the amount of payment that you get versus somebody who has 20,000 followers on YouTube, or 20,000 or 30,000 or 50,000 views on YouTube, and yours that have maybe 30,000 views on YouTube, yours sometimes is higher or sometimes it's also like a cool. The most important thing is focusing on work, and then if the numbers gonna come, they'll catch on. Because the worst thing is chasing the numbers and ending up with the wrong numbers that will force you to feed them with the wrong stuff that you don't want to create.
Yeah.
So it's just things just sticking into that and understanding, putting time frames for yourself where like, this is my vision, this is my work, and this is my direction that I'm taking. Then numbers will catch on to that, rather than you going out to chase numbers that are not even yours or that have been built by her aesthetic or by his aesthetics. So you're trying to feed them with that same, for instance, Marcus has high energy. Then you want his numbers. Then now you're feeding that same audience with the high energy, because what they want is that high energy, and it's not your vibe. So the moment you get into that space, already you have lost, because you're chasing something that is not yours, and that will never connect to you really. So the most important thing is just focusing on that and building a real audience, or putting the work. Then people always catch on to the work. Unless if you're working, I don't know how social media, people are really, their work is social media. Our work is not social media. Our work goes into social media, but it's not social media. Social media is just a platform where you find. It's an extension of the work. It wasn't built on social media. It just flowed. It went over to social media. So I think that's the structure. And it's a different case.
Yeah, I mean, there's always one question, I think, or probably one answer that we forever have. Working as a collective, right, is one thing. Is if today social media were to go,
like on blackouts,
if we are blacked out, can somebody still pick up the phone if the phone is the only thing that somebody can pick up on, and still look out for me, or still say like, oh, can you come through, curate? Can you come through? Can you do a mural for this? Oh, can you come through? Oh, we heard that you got the downtown conversation where you gather young people and do all of these things. Can you guys come through? Can you bring younger people together, and can you host and build whatever show or program or project that they're actually doing?
Or can we even meet up?
Can we even meet up?
Like if there's no social media.
So clearly, with what we have done, or what we're continuously doing, because we're not done yet. We're literally still journeying. Right? And chances are, if we are to say, let's actually do XYZ in this kind of light, people will show up. But they're not showing up for you, or for Ulenni, or for Nyasha, or for... They're showing up, one, for them, but more importantly, we have to understand that there's value in all of us, what we bring when we are together. So that's really our way of looking at things. Is if for me, I bring the high energy, what's Ulenni going to bring? What's Nyasha going to bring? What's Costa Rice going to bring? What's all of that? Whoever, what's Urban Militant, Barber Media, Vigorous Youth, what are all of them going to bring? So it's the power is always about us coming together with all that we got, and we are adding on to each other and saying like, oh, cool, with this, let's put all of our collective efforts, gifts, thinking into this. And guess what? If social media really blacks out, we're still going to be all right. We're still going to be all right. So, I mean, like I would say to most brands, really, one of the key things that I'll advise them as far as, that going forward is just like, let's figure out ways of growing real-time audiences, real-time people that are going to real-time buy, subscribe, support real-time businesses and services. Than us thinking that the social media is what informs the marketing matrix, when actually it's the physical human being that informs the media matrix. By them actually saying like, yo, actually, Dr. Zane say that toothpaste really just makes your smile shine brighter. Let's buy that toothpaste.
Yeah,
So if now 100 people come and buy that toothpaste, guess how the bank account is gonna look? It's gonna add a couple of zeros.
Yeah.
Right. But guess what it's gonna do? It's gonna build another team.
Yeah.
The business is gonna grow. Right. Over time the country is gonna grow. That eventually gets onto the GDP of the country. And that's just how all of us as smaller brands, smaller businesses become the bigger brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But more importantly, we come back to ourselves and just, so community, guys. Community, real-time community.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing that I'm picking from both of you from all of you, is that like community is more important, and how maybe all of these platforms are just a medium of communication. Today it's this, tomorrow it's something else, you know. So as we close, what are your thoughts or tips on building community? How do you build that, community where when people come to your brand physically, they're excited to be in your space. They're excited when you whip out your phone and say, maybe they're now even coming dressed like you're saying, but okay, she's going to take out her phone. Or, people are not posting poor quality content because they know, okay, the real stuff is coming. How do you get to build that community? Or what are some tips you can give on building a real physical community?
I would like to take that one fast. For me, I would say nothing beats being authentic, right? Storytelling as well. And just for one of the key things that I really like, that I cement myself on through everything that I do, is just to lead by love, right? If you're authentic, people can sense authenticness. If you're telling your story, and if you're telling your story, living your story, and being the story, people can engage easy. But if you lead by love, which means you also understand that whatever content that I'm going to give, what kind of value does it have?
Yeah.
How do I want to amplify the other person? As much as you are a brand, you're always asking yourself, as much as if I was this me standing out there, would I also want to be given something like this? Right? So that whole aspect, when you just lead by love, it then allows you the majority of the decisions you now make rightly. Because I feel like the other people who have grown their audience, but over time they've sold their audience to somewhere. Because they're like, oh, the money is right.
Yeah.
But probably sometimes people are following you not because of the money. They're following you because of the story, of the encouragement of the spaces, or the frequency that you're just putting them on.
Yeah.
But you've sold out because of the money. So clearly,
Money is good though.
Money is good.
Who doesn't like money?
Yeah, no. I clearly, right? I'm a firm believer of value will give money.
Yeah.
Any day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is as much as on the table we can say money is good. There's good money, there's bad money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And sometimes, that's a conversation that I think we are not ready to have.
Yeah.
But not all money.
It's good money.
Exactly. All money is green money. But not all money is good money. So that's a conversation that we can have some other time.
Yeah.
However, it's always about loving the other person the way that you want to be loved, but also just making sure that if I'm going to give this content out, what value is it going to add to the other person?
Yeah.
So as long as you look at it in that kind of way, it just makes everything else easy to do.
Ulenni?
Yeah, just adding on that, I think it always also comes with respecting every brand or collective or a creator or anybody that you're engaging around you in terms of what they do and respecting what they do. For instance, what we always do is always asking whoever wants to work with us as a collective, even if you're coming to the event, like for the first editions, we're like, you want to buy a ticket? Why do you want to buy a ticket? How do you want this to add on to what you do? In fact, we ask you what you do first so that we understand how we can collectively work together or push each other. So if one can answer that question, we're like, no, don't waste your money and your time, don't come through just because it's not helping you in any way. But if you know exactly what you're coming in for, because how we structured a community or how we wanted to build it was, it's more like bringing resources together. So it's skills sharing, resources sharing, putting all those things together and making sure that everybody who's there, they are not coming to see somebody. That's why we never, even initially, like, we never invited any popular faces or popular people. Like, this is a subculture thing. The things that we're highlighting here are things that are not on the mainstream space. They never get spotlight on that. So, and everybody who's coming here is a brand that is on the come up, or is a brand that is on the subculture of things that are not, for instance, if it's in film or if it's in a podcast set up like this, the person who invite me to the fabric party is somebody who does makeup, because you never see them on the table, or it's the person behind the camera, you never see them on the table. So it was that space where you bring in the like minds who are also in the same direction and vision, who are also in a space where they want to push in a certain direction. And so it's a matter of just understanding and trying by all means avoiding to just have the numbers, because starting up with numbers comes with a lot of people with different directions or visions or directions where they like want to do this. But it's more like finding the like minds or the people in a space where they want to go in a certain direction and having that in there some house or some space. Like, you never go wrong, and also respecting that, because usually there's a lot of people like, it's easy to have something because maybe a certain culture is ripe, and you just think that I can't do an event. And people can pull up, you can have 1,000 people coming through, but the question is always, are they going to come to the next 7 editions? You can have them one day, boom.
Are they going to bring their friends?
Are they going to come back again? They can bring their friends because maybe what you have presented to them is similar to what's been happening, because a certain culture has grown. And it's possible. So if it's somebody that's why you see, for instance, a good example with Harare, you see that maybe a lot of events or a lot of initiative last for 6 months or a year, and then there's some curator moves on to another thing, because there are people like that where they are not worried much about creating a certain culture. They're about looking at what's ripe and how to get something from that. So they always shift. So I think it all goes back to what's the long-term vision and what's the short-term vision. So if it's about the numbers, that's what we're talking about, how the numbers are all about what you're selling and who you're selling to. So if you want to make an event whereby you just want a huge number one time, can buy those followers, buy all that clout and have it in one space, boom, 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 then it's gone. Then next thing you move on to another thing. So I think it's all about what you're pushing and how you're doing. Even for us on that end, regarding to the numbers, I think everybody who came here today is more on work that was built out of social media, and then they got into social media. But there are people who started on social media and they're taking into a physical space. So I think we also as well, there's so much that we can learn. Like, you remember when we were watching some time ago, could be last year, watching people with huge numbers. For example, DJ Towers has a lot of numbers. He started on social media. I don't know if he started on social media, but he has a lot of numbers. We're talking about how much we have. Also, as much as they are pushing certain things, what they're pushing, there's so much that also we can learn in terms of understanding how they do it, how they curate it. So imagine building what you have physical and extending it to social media with how they do it. Because the guy was saying is you make sure that every day he has a main gig. He's investing on that.
He's investing. I mean, like, he does a live every day.
It was
so if you do a live every day, which means
somehow
over time, probably could have like 1,000 to 2,000 people that just know, like. But so, you can see that even with how Genius did it.
So on our end, like, it was just like we were like, we don't really do much on social media, but there's so much we can learn in terms of even those numbers, like having somebody who's telling you that every day, every night I do an Instagram live. People now know that I do an Instagram live. Like, oh, impressive.
You get 700 to 1,000 people.
People
with their data, guys.
What
did you just go on with your life?
So on our end, I think there's still so much that as much as it's just that it get consumed by doing the physical work on the ground, but you don't have, maybe we need to outsource somebody who does social media who's really invested on that space. So I think that's that. But community building really takes a lot of respect to people and a lot of understanding and scouting exactly what you want to push. Because now it's messed up with all these reality shows whereby everybody thinks that everything has to be glamorous. And so you can have your own niche of people who are heartbroken or people who are showing.
You get it.
and build an audience.
Exactly. You know,
So I think it's,
you meet
but
somewhere.
we
You
get
meet
stuck
with the
on-
husband
we
broken.
get stuck on pushing lights.
You know,
nice food in a restaurant. Yeah, I'm out here. So I think it's all about what you want to build and how you want to build
And
it,
Doc,
push
your
it, yeah.
tips for community building.
I would say that it really has to be like what you see is what you get. What the person sees on social media should
They
be
see in real
what
life,
they
yeah.
get in
Yeah,
real life.
yeah.
So that is. So
yeah.
I think one thing that I even did a reel on that, and I was like, the best compliment a patient can give me, who's also my follower, is to say, you are exactly how you are on social media, because that's who I am.
But my question
bubbly.
now on that is like, what about the introverts? Like,
Be that.
Be that.
Be
Show
that, because not, if I'm talking about my work, not every person wants a very loud dentist. Some of them just want a very zen place where it's just calm. You just have spa music, and you're just like, doc, just do your thing, and you're just quiet. Others, they want the chatterboxes. Like me, I'm talking about, so then I went to this show and I'm busy fixing your tooth, So people are different. So be yourself. And and people will come to you for exactly who you are.
authenticity.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I would say is you need to be excellent at what you do.
Work first.
If you're not excellent at what you do, guys, bad news, bad work travels faster than anything. So
It's a wildfire.
Yeah, and you find that it takes a lot of bravery to really put yourself out there, because it says you're challenging yourself to say, I am going to be good, no matter what. I am going to be good, because you can't be out there and yet you are not perfecting your skill or your craft as you go along in the years. So always work on that. Even when I'm talking to young dentists and they're asking about social media, I always say to them, sure, social media is a place for you to chill and interact with people, but don't forget, the main thing is you want to focus on being an excellent dentist.
That's true.
And that's what matters, and that's how you build the community.
True.
Oh, and I like what he said about telling a story. For me, my patients, they come in and one of the first questions they ask is, how's Ade? How's AJ? They don't even ask, how's your daughter? How they know my daughter's name. They know my daughter's nickname. How's Ade? They'll ask you, is she walking now? Is she potty trained now? That shows you that they're following your story. You're telling a story, and people like that. You become more relatable.
Just out of curiosity,
Yeah.
would you call yourself an introvert or an extrovert?
Yeah, I'm an extrovert.
Okay.
100%. 100% extrovert. I do take time to read the room, though. I was telling someone that, and they was like, no, because I just started working at a new practice. So I was talking to the chief dental nurse there, and I was saying, I take time to warm up to people. And she was like, no, you don't. You just came in and just like that, bam, you are just gelling, So, but I think in my mind, I'm thinking I take time to warm up, but I think I'm just naturally an extrovert.
Because for me, I'm thinking, like, for me personally, I think I'm naturally like an introvert. But when I have to, you come out.
Yeah.
And then, at the end of the day, I go back in.
Yeah.
But then now, the angle that you're mentioning where you're talking about your daughter, I mean, that's a level of vulnerability for me that, I don't know. It's like...
I know. And I can totally understand that. And that's why you need to be careful with how you post. It's just like, for me, it was a very sensitive issue for people to even know I was pregnant. So nobody knew. To the point that when I posted the YouTube video just says a new chapter. And I posted it. So people actually thought it was a pregnancy announcement. Until at the end, they say at the end of the video, I'm holding the baby. They're like, how? The baby is here.
YouTube pregnancy.
I can't believe it. They're like, what do you mean? You post your life. And I'm like, I post, yes. I post
want you to see.
what I want.
Exactly.
And I will share when I'm ready.
Yeah.
I will share my story the way that I want to, the way I'm comfortable. You know, because you have to think about like how it would affect you if anything would go wrong, and think about, can I handle it or not?
Yes.
And then you can post. You have to be really careful, and everything is like it's different with each individual. Yeah.
And then I know I said that was my last question, but as an introvert, now I want to know, okay, how do you begin to take steps to walk towards that vulnerability, but then also protecting yourself to say, okay, because I know sometimes people can be abusive online, but how do you take steps? Because I feel like what you're saying, I feel like I know you. You know, even though like this is the first time we've met, like I'm always watching your content. I may not always comment, and I can relate to what you're saying. But then when I think about it for my own business, like there's so much fear, like, okay. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I had that fear as well. You know, I thought about it and I was like, will people take me seriously?
Yeah, that's the thing.
A dentist who's on YouTube, right? So I started out like that. I was really scared. Even my Instagram page, if you scroll, I still have my first few photos. Scroll my first few photos, they were just selfies here and there. Then one fine day, then I just posted, oh, so I'm a dentist. And then I just went quiet. And then I'm seeing, okay, people like this more. And then the more I posted dentistry, I'm a dentist. Oh, this is what I do. Oh, and at the time I was still in the district. I was in the rural area, staying there. People found that so fascinating. And they started engaging with that. So I would say baby steps. Just start wherever you're comfortable. So what I was familiar with was just, you know, selfies, looking cute, looking pretty on Instagram, and that was it. And I loved singing, and I used to perform a lot. And on YouTube, I used to just do covers and just sing. But then I started just bit by bit, coming into the light. And then when I realized people will like you exactly the way you are. Exactly the way you are. That's when I realized, I'm about to come out exactly the way I am. And and I just love that. While still protecting myself with whatever I feel this I would not be able to handle if it is out there. I keep it to myself. And and I prefer it that way. So because you tell a story and you're telling a certain part of your life honestly, people will just still feel like they know everything about you, even if they probably know 50 or 40% about you. So
Okay, I feel like this show could go on and on. But thank you so much for your invaluable wisdom. I think it's something I never expected to say, community. You know, because I feel like there's so much pressure to be online and build everything online, and there's so much pressure to be something else that you're not. And here you guys are saying, be yourself and create something that just doesn't exist on the internet. I think that's very valuable, and I'm looking forward to having more conversations with all of you in the future. And as we close, just tell us again where people can find you, your products. Dom.
Okay, you can find me on YouTube. It's Dr Zanele Dinika. On Instagram, Dr Zanele Dinika. Twitter, Dr Zanele Dinika. Facebook, it's Dr Zanele Dinika. And on TikTok, Dr Zanele Dinika. Oh, yes, and we also do scrubs, which are Afrocentric. I love my scrubs, and people like my scrubs too. So you can follow that page. It's Zanele D Scrubs.
Now, you can find me on Ulenni Okandlovu on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Then on under my Instagram, Ulenni Okandlovu. That's where you find Scans Robo Fabric Party. And also you can find our band, Bantu Spaceship, is touring. We're starting our tour this May next week by Bushfire. Then we'll be doing our Euro tour around August. So you can check Bantu Spaceship on that page, but it's all under my Ulenni Okandlovu Instagram account. Then you can find all the elements under that.
Hello guys. And last but not least, you can find me on Instagram. I'm the Marcus ZW. On Twitter, I'm the Marcus ZW. On Facebook, I'm Marcus Zvinavashe. Our brand page, calligraph.co on Instagram, calligraph on Facebook, calligraph as well on Twitter. And then underneath my bio, Marcus Zvinavashe, you can find as well the Downtown Conversation, a platform where creators really get to sit down and a panel discussion, get to discuss and get to figure out ways of just moving together and pushing the needle forward. You can also find Ikata, which is like I said, my journey of fabric expression that I'm actually journeying currently. And what else? Oh yeah. TikTok, energy doctor. So yeah. On that note, guys, I guess it's been beautiful. Siyabonga kama Marcus Zvinavashe, energy doctor in the building again.
Thank you for tuning in, and see you in the next one.
Picture Hub is a fully fledged content creation studio based in Harare, Zimbabwe. At our core, we are storytellers with a focus on film production, photography, and voice recording. We believe that the essence of any organization, corporate brand, or individual is a well-curated story. Our passion lies in bringing these stories to life authentically with undeniable excellence. Our portfolio includes television commercials, web series, documentaries, podcasts, and voice recordings. For more information, visit our website www.picturehubzim.com or email info@picturehubzim.com for inquiries.